And now, it's The Law Show on CL 650. A comprehensive look at everything you need to know about the law.
Ultimate sing-along song there.
That's a good one.
For The Law Show. We're talking about family law, and joining us in studio, David Halkett, partner at McQuarrie Hunter, and Sarah Morse, associate at McQuarrie Hunter. So tell us a little bit about your firm. It's not just a family law boutique firm, is it? It's a full-service law firm, right?
Exactly. We have the entire 15th floor of Central City Tower. Mm-hmm. There's three of us who practice family law, Sarah, Leah, Donaldson, and me. And then we have about 25 other lawyers who worked in all areas, including real estate, commercial, corporate work,
personal injury
litigation, commercial litigation. We can do your
conveyancing.
And estate work as well. Mm-hmm. So we're full service.
Okay, so do most full service, well, I guess if you're full service, you would have sort of a family element, but do most law firms have somebody that specializes in family law, or is this kind of a unique situation?
It's unique for a firm of our size. Usually family law lawyers work in their own smaller firms, whereas with us, we're part of a larger firm. Like if you go downtown, there may be one or two lawyers who do family law, but they don't market themselves as family law lawyers. They just are the ones who, if one of their corporate clients is getting divorced, they go there. Mm-hmm. So we're unique in that sense.
So most family law are boutique little sort of one or two lawyers in a practice.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you're unique in that you have a full service group. So does that benefit you in any way? Like how does it work having part of a bigger firm?
Well, it's a big benefit insofar as a lot of the family law matters have corporate elements. There's real estate conveyancing that often comes out of it.
Estate issues.
Exactly. So we have our other expertise on the firm that we can bring in when necessary.
Mm-hmm. So, Sarah, how do people that work on the rest of the floor view the family law department?
They stay as far away as possible. They just forward clients on to us when necessary. But it is a very different area because it is very emotional as opposed to, the more corporate side of things where there is no emotion involved. It's deals, it's transactional business, whereas that's very different than what our side is.
And I always jokingly tell my partners that they all should have to do a rotation through the family law department. Come work here for 6 months or a year to know what it's really like.
Would you really want to sit and do real estate deals all day, though?
No. So I'll stay where I am.
That's the thing. I mean, you actually get to, get out.
Well, that's it. Yeah, we're kind of we cross over. We do some solicitor stuff like drafting agreements and that, but we actually get courtroom work as well. So it's an interesting mix.
It's a nice hybrid. Yeah.
So what's that like when you go to court? How is it different than the TV shows?
It's very boring.
Yeah.
and I don't mean boring.
I would think it's exciting. I mean, probably the first time you went, you were quite nervous.
Oh, I think you're not a good lawyer if you go in there and your palms aren't a little bit sweaty or you're a little nervous about the outcome because you want to be
never know.
Yeah, and you want to be on your game. And those of us that do this kind of work, we thrive on the adrenaline a little bit and the getting up there and advocating for our clients. So we enjoy that part of it, but it's very dry. If someone was to come and watch a trial, I mean, we have so many discovery rules and there's so much procedure involved. There's no aha moment where someone jumps up and says, I did it. And, there's none of these red herrings and these big, outbursts and things like that. It's very routine.
And it's judge always, right? Not there's no jury there.
In family law, it's only judge.
Yeah.
We don't have juries.
So, the theater will be lost on the judge if you're trying to put on a show.
Oh,
right?
The judge will usually shut it down quite quickly if you're pulling too many theatrics.
The interesting aspect is that a lot of the judges that hear our cases never practice family law. A lot of the Supreme Court judges were corporate, commercial litigation types. There's also a lot that were in the criminal bar, both as prosecutors or as defense counsel. There's very few that do family or that did family. Obviously, the minute they get in there, they're thrust into it and they have to deal with it. But it's when it's a new judge, often they don't necessarily know some of the law that they have to almost be like taught it as it goes along. So.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they rely on it when we're in court, when we're doing submissions. I think we're relied on a lot to have case law, have the rules that we're relying on, the cases, and the statutes, we have to be very knowledgeable. And I'm routinely asked in courts, especially provincial court, Ms. Morris, where's my authority for that? And you have to be ready to go on that. And I don't think
and so that means you have to show the previous
rule or a case or something that says the judge can do this. Because especially provincial, because they're only based on statutory. It's not like there's no inherent jurisdiction like the Supreme Court has. But yeah, the worst thing you want is the judge to say, I don't understand you, or I can't make that order for you, because then it's like, oh, okay, where do I go from here?
Okay,
so you need to be fully versed in it.
All right. Now, when you are in the family law world, and how much of what happens with a divorce actually has to go to court? So can a lot of the stuff be done on your desk, or ultimately does it have to go in front of a judge?
The only part that absolutely has to go before a judge is the divorce itself. That because it's one of those weird things of our law that only a judge can end your marriage. Anything else you can resolve by agreement. You can resolve spousal support, child support, custody, guardianship, residency, division of assets. That can all be just worked out in a separation agreement. The only thing that has to go before court is the divorce. And that usually you don't even have to make an appearance. You just do it by documents that you run through.
Okay, now that's the best case scenario. Yeah. What is the average, Sarah? Well, how often do you have to go, say, what is an average divorce, a year and a bit?
It's really going to depend, because there are the simple divorces that are just asset-based, or there's divorces that have kids and no assets, or there's cases that have everything, pension, assets, kids, the support issues, everything. So that's really going to dictate how long it's going to take, in a sense, but it's the parties themselves. I've had files that have concluded in 2 4-way meetings. We didn't go to court once. We had one interim agreement, and then we sat down and negotiated for 6 hours, and we shuttled back and forth in 2 rooms. So in my experience, there's usually a few applications you have to make to the court, whether it's for someone to get exclusive occupancy of the house, or to force the house to be sold, or for interim support or something like that. But then after that, everything else tends to flow from that. I mean, and I'm sure David will be able to speak to this as well. Very few matters go to trial.
Yeah.
Things get worked out before then.
The ones that I find go to trial is often either the parties have a lot of money they can burn, or there actually is a principal issue of, who owned that asset before and they can't come to a settlement money-wise. Or if one party's unrepresented, because trying to get them to the table is not always easy. But 95% of family law matters in the Supreme Court level don't see a trial. There's maybe applications as go along, but they don't see a trial.
So that's the courtroom step scenario,
exactly.
Right? Yeah,
exactly.
So is that part of what attracted you to family law, is that you actually do get to go to court? Because so many lawyers sit in their office all day, right?
Yeah. Well, me, I like that, as Sarah said, that there's always the adrenaline aspect of it. We're always nervous when we step up, because we don't know exactly what's going to come out of the judge's mouth when we're making our argument. Someone said once at a CLE I was at, continuing legal education, that courtroom lawyers, we all have the same 2 traits. We're all adrenaline junkies, or we're anal retentive control freaks.
So which one are you?
We're probably both.
Yeah, a little bit of both.
Well, that's why it's interesting. I would like the system that we have they have in England, where you just hand the file to a lawyer who goes to court and argues it. Someone else does all the work. I would much rather have Sarah do all my background work, do all that, hand it to me, go in and do it.
So that's the classic barrister solicitor. So that's a barrister goes to court.
Exactly.
Yeah. With the wig.
Yeah.
You want the wig. That's what.
Yeah, exactly. the downside of that, though, is you are reliant on what the person has done to give to you.
Yeah.
So you just get the brief. It's like, okay, and you go from there. So it's we have a mixed bar in British Columbia, so we do both. But certainly, in our firm, we have, both Sarah and Leah do stuff. We do it for each other if necessary, but we pretty well control our stuff from the beginning to end.
I think you probably have a better spectrum of knowledge about that case versus just being handed it at the 11th hour, right?
Especially in family law with the emotional aspects.
Yeah, I think particularly in family law, you need to understand your client, you need to understand the opposing party, what makes everyone tick, what are their motivations. And you need to know that to really effectively handle the file, compared to, I think, any other area. Because
I know in other areas, the senior guy will get a file in and he'll pass it down to someone else to deal with all the work and everything. And that happens in our department as well, but it's different in that the client's already told their whole story to you.
Yeah.
They don't have to go through it again to someone else. And, a lot of who retains us and who we keep as our clients, it's based on trust levels between the parties. It's the same. All lawyers have trust levels with their clients, but us, it's a little bit different in that we're hearing some intimate details that
their
you don't go around
deepest,
telling.
darkest parts of their life, right?
It's like a therapist relationship. So there's a connection there that someone's going to have with you that they might not feel that they're going to have with somebody else necessarily.
And I was referred to you. I wasn't referred to Sarah, or I was referred to Sarah, not to you. And so, whenever one of us is away, the others have to obviously take care of the other one's work. But, often they want to go back to where their home, their happy place, so to speak.
So that first tear-filled session with the Kleenex is kind of who they feel connected to, right?
Absolutely.
Because no one wants to have to go through it again.
Now, I kind of brought you around to this topic about going to court for a reason, because when we come back, we're going to talk about maybe having to go to court to get some kind of protection. What do you call it? Protection order, and different levels of abuse in a relationship, which is maybe why the marriage has come to an end. So we'll pick up on that and more when we come back on The Law Show on CL 650.
There's more of the show still ahead. This is The Law Show on CL 650.